So the question is it, normally you're told, yes, it's a placebo, but you don't know which it is. The person giving it, you don't know which it is, or you're taking an active pill. We'll change it at some stage. You won't know. So you don't know when the placebo is. Okay. So people then ask the question, well, hang on. Okay. How right is this? Because really, if you want trust, the way as human beings, we want to believe, we want to trust, we want to know that what's happening is what's happening. So there've been a number of non-deception open placebo trials.
Okay.
And what they do is they say, and so there is a rationale given to the people in the trial. So they have a certain thing that they're studying, and there's been a number on pain, and there've been a number on other conditions, and they say, look, this is a placebo pill. It is a very powerful thing. We know it. We know that it works. We are actually becoming more confident that this is how it works. And then you explain how the Pavlov's dog, and you explain that your mind will turn on this process. It is very agile. It's very powerful. It's absolutely wonderful. The fascinating thing that a number of these studies have shown is that if you are very enthusiastic about it, if you have a positive feeling about it, it helps, but not a lot, which is quite true, because the process is unconscious. But the one thing that you have to do in the trial is you have to keep taking this placebo, this powerful, wonderful placebo that's going to help you. So people know it's a placebo. They're given very clear instructions as to why it works. And then they go into the trial, and the trials are knock your socks off.
So, for instance, if you had 100 people with back pain and you gave 30% of them a placebo pill.
Gave them all placebo.
All of them. You gave all of them a placebo and you said, this is a placebo. It hasn't got any active ingredients, but placebo is really powerful. It's going to help your pain.
Yeah.
And people felt better.
And you gave them, and you explained why.
That's amazing.
And you said to them, here it is.
Because you're turning on the endorphins.
Every time you put it in your mouth, you are turning on this amazing process. And therefore, you are actually getting your reprogramming your brain. Your brain is now turning on these incredible processes in your body, and the results are fabulous. So they are no worse than when there was deception. So
that is fascinating. That's amazing.
Isn't it absolutely wonderful?
We have these incredible capabilities that we just need the keys to unlock so that we can start to use them.
So then the question is, why do you need to actually take a placebo? How can you turn this on? Does it work without having an actual thing you're putting in your mouth, or a thing that you're putting on your skin, something like that, like something physical? And the answer is absolutely yes. And the reason I can say that with no doubt is that you continue to be as well as you are, and me, because we are using the placebo effect every day. In fact, the placebo effect is your inner pharmacy, which is how you adapt to the things that life throws at you. It's evolutionary. It's an evolutionary, it is the reason why human beings are on the top of the evolutionary scale, because every day you're thrown a curveball or two, and you have choices in your mind to behave adaptively or totally spin out and and then it all overwhelms you and become anxious, depressed. Anxiety, depression, all live together with pain, all of them. And so wellness, energy, cognition, ability to cope, all of these, you're using the placebo process every minute of every day. And if you use it well, you are well, and you are on top of things, and everything is cruisy in your life. And if you're not using it as well as you could, then you become unwell in whatever way you do. Does that make sense? It's the same process.
But I suppose as a practical consideration, if say somebody has, because our audience, is generally people with chronic pain.
Yeah.
Somebody has, for instance, back pain, is very common, low back pain, very common ailment. So how could they, following this, listening to this talk, they're probably, interested in going, wow, I've got these natural pain relief capabilities I didn't know I had. These endorphins are as powerful as morphine, but without all the side effects.
Better.
Yeah.
Better.
How could I, when I wake up in the morning and my back is killing me, or I'm sitting for half an hour in traffic and my back is just, just absolutely awful. What can I do? What can I do with this knowledge?
Okay. Oh, that's a $1
million question.
Well, it's not a million, is it? It's like $1 squillion, really. Okay. So there are two ways to go about it. The first is to recognize that the times that they don't have pain are the times that the system is actually working. So what you can do is enjoy those times and recognize what's happening in you and extend those times into the painful areas. And recognize that in the same way that when you expect something, that what drives this placebo effect is belief and expectation. That's the primary drivers. So if, as every day, say you have back pain, and when you are going to sit in your car and drive, you have awful back pain, but when you are relaxing at home in another chair, you feel quite comfortable and you don't have a lot of back pain because that's your favorite chair. Okay, so what's happening here actually is that the act of sitting is no different. The pressures in your back are no different. But what is completely different is the expectation of what's going to happen. You're basing that expectation on your history. Your history is, wow, my God, when I sit in this chair and I just really get myself relaxed, I can at last get some relief. When I sit in the car, it's like agony that turns on and on. That has what's happened to you in the past. So as you approach the car, the expectation turns on. The process is now not a positive, but a negative one. It's a nocebo, as different from a placebo. It's a nocebo. It is now turning down your pain relievers, stopping the whole wonderful thing that you did when you were sitting in the chair. So when you sat in the chair at home, you turned it on. When you sit in the chair in the car, you turn it off. Now, once you realize,
being your natural pain relief, your descending inhibitory pathway.
You're turning your descending inhibitory pathway, you're turning your endorphin system off, you're winding up your anxiety, everything else that is going to make it feel worse is there. You're a little bit sweaty, yeah?
And this is what we would classify as a reactive pain type.
This is a reactive pain type. And this is a very, very huge, once you recognize how powerful the placebo effect is and how the placebo effect drives pain, then you recognize how powerful this reactive component is. Because the reactive component is the expectation in your mind, which turns on a process in your body so that you either the pain melts or the pain grows. And we can do both. And we do both. You can also do something physical. So as you're approaching the car, what you do is we teach mind-body techniques, which are changing the expectations up here, changing the way your brain is wired, changing and reprogramming your brain so that instead it behaves when you approach the car, it behaves like when you're going to approach that wonderful, comfortable chair that gives you pain relief at home. And so you go and you start to practice. It's not something that you can do like this, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. So you start to change things and start to recognize the power that you have for good and for harm. We've all got it.